In the first equation, we're asked to solve y over 10 is equal to 2/5 plus 3 over 8. So the first thing we always want to do is we always want to find the least common denominator. The least common denominator in this case will be 10 is 2 times 5, 5 is 5, and 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3 2's for 8. Well, let's write it a different way. 10 is 2 times 5. 5 is just 5. And 8 is 2 to the third power. So our least common denominator has to have the highest power of each individual prime number. So 2 to the third power is the highest power of 2, and 5 to the first power is the highest power of 5. So 5 times 8 is 40. That will be our LCD. So if I multiply, and the way I had been doing it is I would multiply by 5 times 2 to the third power. Well, let's do it differently actually. Let's say 5 times 2 times 2 times 2. It's a little bunched up there. But as you can see, 5 times 2 is 10, so I can cancel out that 10 and that 10. And I have 2 times 2 times y, and that'll be 4y. And then if I do the same thing here, let's do this one in yellow. If I do 5 times 2 times 2 times 2, well, these 5's cancel, and I'm left with 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or 8 times 2, and that's 16. And then over here for the 3/8, I'll do the same thing. I'll do 5 times 3 2's again. Now this 8 cancels with this 3 2's, 2 times 2 times 2, or 8. And I'm left with 5 times 3, which is 15. It might get a little obvious in a bit. But in any case, I can now solve this. I can get rid of the fractions. If I have an equation, I can use a tool to get rid of the fractions. And that's just for y is equal to 31. I can divide both sides by 4, and I get y is equal to 31 over 4. The book says check it. You should check it, but as long as your answer matches mine, I'm happy enough with that. Number 3. That one says 1/4 minus 5 over 6 is equal to, notice I'm leaving myself a little space here, 1 over a. Well, the LCD here, 4 is 2 times 2, 6 is 2 times 3. So I need 2 2's and 1 3. So the LCD is 2 times 2 times 3, which is 12. Don't forget the a, so it's 12a. Let's try just what it looks like to multiply both sides by 12a. This is really how we do it. I wanted to show you how it looks by doing the prime numbers, but let's see what it looks like. Well, the 12a times 1 over 4, the 12 and the 4 cancel to 3. 3a times 1 is just 3a. The 12a times 5 over 6, the 12 and the 6 cancel to 2 times a, or 2a times 5, which would be negative 10a. And that is all equal to, these a's cancel on this side, So that'll just be equal to 12. Well, I can combine my like terms here. 3a minus 10a, if I have 3 of something and I take 10 away, I have negative 7 of that something. That's equal to 12. That's using the that's combining like terms. Then we can use the multiplication principle. We can divide, and we'll get a is equal to negative 12 over 7. And that's our answer there. Try a couple more on this video, and then I'll do another video that has the rest of the equations on them. Let's do number 5. Number 5 says x over 3 minus x over 4 is equal to 12. Now our greatest common denominator is just going to be 3 times 4, which is 12. So I'll take this whole side and multiply it by 12, and then this side I'll also multiply by 12. When I distribute in this 12 times x over 3 is 12 divided by 3 is 4x. I distribute the 12 to the negative x over 4, and I get 12 divided by 4 is a 3x, and that's a negative. And 12 times 12 is equal to 144. The next step is to combine like terms. 4x minus 3x is x, just 1x. If I have 4 or something, take 3 away. I've only got 1 left. So x is equal to 144. And let's check this one just because it's easy to check. It's not really all that difficult. If x is 144, then 144 divided by 3 minus 144 divided by 4, that should equal 12. Well, what's 144 divided by 3? You might want to use your calculator, but I like the challenge of doing long division. 3 goes into 144. Well, it goes into 14 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract those. I got 2. Bring down the 4. And 24 divides by 3 8 times. And that gives me a 0 remainder. So this number here is just 48. So 48. Now we'll do the same thing for the 4. So 4 goes into 144. How many times? 4 into 14 is 3. Multiply that, subtract, bring down, and start over. 24 is 36, so multiply, subtract, and I have a 0 remainder again. So 144 divided by 4 is 36. And the question is, does 48 minus 36 equal 12? Yes, 12 does in fact equal 12. So we're good there. That's how we know that we have a valid answer. That was number 5. Let's do number 7 while we still have time. This one says x plus 8 over x, and that's equal to a negative 9. Excuse me. Well, I only have one denominator here. The denominator is x. This would be, if I were to write it, this would be x over 1. This would be negative 9 over 1. So the only denominator I have is x. That's all I'm going to distribute in. So I'll just go ahead and multiply x by both sides. When I distribute my x here, I get x times x. X times x is x squared. X times, well, that's a little deceiving. Let's do it this way. X times 8 over x, I end up with 8x divided by x. Those cancel. So it'll be a plus 8. And on this side, negative 9 times x is just negative 9x. Now, your clue here will be whenever you have a second degree in your polynomial, that should tell you what you need to do. If ever I have an equation with the second power, what I need to do is set it equal to 0 and then solve for x by either factoring or taking the square root. So let's, in this case, add 9x to both sides so we can set it equal to 0. Those, of course, cancel out to 0. That's why we did it. And then when I put all three of these terms in descending order, I start with my x squared plus 9x plus 8, and that is equal to 0. Now that I have a trinomial, I can factor it, right? A times c is 8, so I'm looking for factors of 8 that'll combine to give me 9, 1, and 8, and that's it. Really, if it's a positive 9 and a positive 8, then both of these are positive. If we did the cheater way, remember the cheater way is I just put the square root of the first term plus 1, square root of the first term plus the 8, and then I look for anything I can divide out. And here there's nothing I can divide out from this term or this term, so that is factored. And now by the zero product principle, I don't think we ever gave it a name, but it's called the zero product principle. What that means is if A times B equals 0, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. So here's my A here. This is my A. X plus 1 equals 0 or here's my B. X plus 8 equals 0. And then at this point it's just a matter of doing the proper operations. Here is the addition principle, equals -1, and here subtract 8 from both sides. X is equal to -8. Now these are my answers only if they do not give me an invalid rational expression in the original equation. So here is my original equation. X plus 8 over x is equal to -9. Remember that this term here, x cannot be 0. Well, neither of these numbers are 0. So both of them are correct. That's the first 3 questions from the homework. I will do another video that has as many more as I can do until we get them all done. 16 is all.